Did you miss me? Welcome back, everybody. The Fucked Up Podcast. Christmas episode. Kind of. By that, I mean, we're recording on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And it comes out the week of Christmas.
It's a little too light out to be Christmas Eve just yet, I feel like. I feel like Eve always, I'm like, that's nighttime.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
It's not Christmas Eve until it's like 7 p.m.
Yeah. I guess we just always went to like my mom and dad's around like noon, 1 o'clock was kind of our arrival time. So, well, yeah, because then we just sit and like eventually eat dinner. Because my mom always made prime rib. So that's like hours of cooking. Anyway, I'm back. Thank you guys for covering for me, my lovely.
Yeah, of course.
Co-hosts.
Happy to. That's what we're here for.
For those of you that don't know, I moved states. I now live with Dave. If you really are not up to the lore and the canon of LTN Media.
LTN lore, yeah.
Dave and I are in a relationship and have been for several years. And now we live together, which is pretty cool. Sometimes concerning. Just because I don't have a job yet. So,
fair enough.
You know what?
Once I'm out of the house now and then.
Mood, so.
Life might be a little easy. No, just kidding. It's been great. But I'm back. And y'all are going to be better for it. That's what I've decided.
That's true.
That's fair.
But to break us into the episode a little bit more, D, we have some updates from the PWHL.
We sure do. As we've been going through all season, anytime the PWHL brings on a new sponsor, we want to make sure you guys know about it because we love companies and people who support women and women's sports. Because if we want them to be on the same level as the NHL, then they gonna need that money, baby. This is a new sponsorship. It is the official major appliance partner of the PWHL. It's a appliance company known as Medea, Midea. All I can think of is Tyler Perry's Medea.
I was just gonna say like Medea.
It's probably like Medea instead of Medea, but Medea sounds funner. But it's probably Medea.
That's fair and Medea. Slightly disappointing.
Yeah, but they are a global leader in smart home appliances. And they're turning up the heat on women's sports by becoming the official major appliance partner of the Professional Women's Hockey League. The first of its kind partnership marks Medea's bold. Is that how I said I was going to say it? Medea's bold. Medea. That's probably how it's said. Medea's bold entry into North American sports sponsorship and underscores the vital role women's sports play in building stronger communities. This partnership is about more than appliances. It's about supporting game changers. The PWHL is redefining women's sports, and we are proud to champion their vision while delivering comfort and convenience to North American homes with Medea's trusted appliances. They went on to discuss all this stuff. As part of its partnership, Medea will enhance the PWHL team experience by outfitting lockers with state-of-the-art appliances. Medea will also elevate the in-game experience for fans with activations and prizing, creating moments of joy both on and off the ice, which is something that we've seen a lot in these sponsorships, that not only are they giving something to the teams that presumably the teams need, like, they need fridges for their sports drink or whatever in locker rooms, but they're also doing like fan activations. So you'll see them around rinks. They'll have like some sort of a little experience set up. A lot of the times it's like a photo opportunity with players or giveaway items. I don't think they'll be giving away appliances, but they might give away like a hat or like a jacket or something like that. So that we've seen that a lot with all of these sponsorships for the PWHL, which is great, especially since as of right now, no PWHL teams really have like home ice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they don't have their own dedicated sports centers or whatchamacallits just yet. So it's nice to see them doing all this and being able to go to all the games around the league. So it's very cool.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's I think both sides here, and like we talked about with last week, I think both sides here understand that it's important to not only keep your players in tip-top shape, but also a way of connecting the fan base to the product that's supporting the league.
Yeah.
I mean, NASCAR is the best fucking example of that sort of initiative with sponsorships and fans. So good on the PWHL for continuing to find partners that work best for them and their vision of what they're trying to do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And for a special exclusive about a partnership that has recently also played into an on-ice experience, make sure you check out our TikTok, where we post an exclusive PWHL update later this week. Moving on from that, though, we do have our 3 stars of the week, as presented by Shark Ninja. Once again, Shark Ninja, holla at your girl. We love you over here. This 3 stars of the week is for the week ending in, this week, through December, from the 15th to the 22nd. All right, as usual, we are going to start with our 3rd star. Our 3rd star this week is none other than the insanely popular, for good reason, Kendall Coyne Schofield, a forward of the Minnesota Frost. In Sunday's 4-3 win over the Sirens, Minnesota's captain scored on her team's first shot of the game at 5:09 of the first period and added her 3rd goal of the season just over 10 minutes later. The first multi-goal game of her PWHL career helped Coyne Schofield join Michaela Cava, Grace Zumwickel, and Dominic Petrie in a tie for the team goal lead. The output lengthened her current point streak to 3 games and placed her in a tie with Taylor Heiss for the Frost scoring lead. Coyne Schofield also contributed to a perfect week by Minnesota's penalty killers, who survived 2 Ottawa power plays in Thursday's win over the Charge and went 2 for 2 during personal disadvantages Sunday against the Sirens. Also against Ottawa, Coyne Schofield contributed to the primary assist on Kelly Panek's 2nd goal of the game. And our 2nd star, Abby Boreen, forward of the Montreal Victoire. In Montreal's only game of the week, a 4-3 overtime win over the Scepters of Toronto, the 24-year-old used an exceptional expression of quick thought, quick hands, and solid balance to score her 2nd goal of the season. The Somerset, Wisconsin native helped snared a pass from Catherine Dubois on her forehand just inside the Toronto blue line, then shifted it quickly to her backhand against defender Renata Fast before returning it to a forehand and whipping a 12-foot shot inside the post behind the right arm of Scepter's goalie Reagan Kirk before tumbling to the ice. Boreen's magical moves at 3:52 of the 2nd period got Montreal on the scoreboard, shaved Toronto's 2-1 lead 2-1, and helped propel the Victoire to their first ever victory over the Scepters after an 0-2-3 record against them in the team's first 5 meetings. With 2-2, so 2 goals and 2 assists for the season, Boreen leads Montreal in goals, assists, and points, and is within 1 point of matching her output in 9 games with Minnesota last season. For those who didn't see this clip go around on social media, it was beautiful. A beautiful fucking goal.
Goal was insane.
It was
insane.
insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And we reposted it on our TikTok if you're interested in seeing it, because it was a beauty.
It was
for
spectacular.
Sure.
Goal of the week,
Yeah.
I think, among
100%.
all leagues.
Hands down. The 1st star, Claire Thompson, a defender out of Minnesota Frost. Thompson, who is Minnesota's #1 pick at the 2024 draft, contributed a goal and 4 assists to a 2-victory week that kept the Frost atop the PWHL standings. And Thursday's 5-2 victory over Ottawa at Xcel Energy Center, the 26-year-old Toronto native collected her first PWHL goal, entering the play as a trailer, accepting Taylor Heisey's pass from the right side and setting a wrist shot from the high slot inside the post to the left of the Charge goalie, Gwyneth Phillips. Thompson added 3 assists in the contest to tie the league record for points in 1 game. Montreal's Aaron Ambrose had 4 assists against Minnesota on April 18th. In Sunday's 4-3 shootout victory over the New York Sirens, Thompson set up Heisey's first goal of the season to extend her point streak to 3 straight games. With 1 goal and 6 assists for the season, Thompson leads the league in assists and shares the lead in points with 2 Siren standouts Alex Carpenter and Thompson's former Princeton teammate, Sarah Fillier. So those are our 3 stars this week in the PWHL. Round of applause for these ladies working so hard.
Yay.
Alex Carpenter's also the goal leader, too. Only player in the league with 4.
True.
Which, again, not surprising.
No, not at all.
What about the boys? We have 3 stars of the week.
We do have 3 stars of the week for the boys. I actually really like that we're starting with the 3 stars, because this week it is none other than Patrick Laine, right winger for the Montreal Canadiens. Great to see him back on this list after a tough couple of seasons and then that injury to start this season. As he was finally coming back. So Laine also found the back of the net in each of his 3 games, sharing the league lead with 5 total goals, all on the power play, to spark the Canadiens to a perfect week. He registered his 11th career hat trick, as well as his 27th career game-winning goal and a 6-1 victory over the Buffalo Sabres. Laine then propelled Montreal to a pair of triumphs against the Detroit Red Wings, potting his 2nd consecutive winning goal and a 4-3 decision, before adding an insurance marker in a 5-1 victory the next day, or later. Yeah, the next day. The 26-year-old Laine, who made his season Canadiens debut on December 3rd, has scored each of his first 8 goals of the campaign on the man advantage. Only 4 other players have recorded their first 8 tallies with the franchise via the power play. Risto Stiltonen, Marek Zidlicki, Dwight Bialwas, that's not how you say that. Whatever. And Victor Olofsson. That one I know how to say. So yeah, shout out to Laine for getting that 3rd star this week. All right, our 2nd star, another familiar name, William Nylander. It's dealer's choice on that one, of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nylander scored in all 3 of his contests, producing 5 goals, 2 assists to guide the Maple Leafs to a pair of wins. So that means they lost 1, for those of you keeping count. He recorded 2 goals, including the tying marker early in the 2nd period, and a 5-3 win over the Dallas Stars. Nylander collected 1 goal and 2 assists, his 36th career 3-point outing and 3rd of the season, and a 6-3 win against the Buffalo Sabres. He then finished the week with 2 more tallies, his 5th multi-goal performance of 2024-2025, and a 6-3 loss to the New York Islanders. The 28-year-old Nylander, who compiled career highs in goals, tied with 40, assists 58, and points 98 in 23-24, sits 2nd in the league with 23 goals through 34 appearances this season. He also paces among the 2024-2025 leaders in game-winning goals, tied for 4th with 5, shots on goal, 5th with 121, power play goals, tied for 6 with 7, power play points, tied for 9th with 16, and points 19 with 38. And that brings us to our 1st star of the week this week, which is none other than Cale Makar, a defensiveman out of Colorado. Makar led the NHL with 2 goals and 6 assists in 4 appearances this week to lift the Avalanche into 3rd place in the Central Division via a 3-1-0 week. He assisted on Colorado's lone goal in a 3-1 loss to the Vancouver Canucks. Makar then registered 2 points in each of his next 2 games, picking up a pair of power play helpers in a 4-2 comeback victory over the San Jose Sharks, before notching 1 goal and 1 assist, including his 23rd career game-winning goal, and another 4-2 comeback triumph, this time versus the Anaheim Ducks' Sorry Chris. He capped the week with 1 goal and 2 assists, his 34th career 3-point performance, and 3rd of the campaign, as the Avalanche earned their 3rd straight come-from-behind win with a 5-2 win against the Seattle Kraken. The 26-year-old Makar, the 2021-2022 James Norris Memorial Trophy winner, as well as finalist for each of the past 4 seasons, tops NHL defenseman in goals, tied for 1st with 11. Assists 34, points 45, power play goals he has 6, power play points 19, and game-winning goals tied with 3 through 36 total outings so far this season. So those are our 3 stars of the week as presented by Geico.
And D. Thank you.
Yeah, and me.
I know there has been some movement within the league, and I think our dear friend Chris has some further details on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I do indeed. It seems another piece of the puzzle in New York has dropped. As the New York Rangers have traded Capo Caco to the Seattle Kraken. The Rangers will receive defenseman Will Borgen and a 3rd and 6th round pick in the 2025 draft. For those that do not remember, Capo Caco was selected number 2 overall in 2019. He has kind of been he has not lived up to the expectations that were set for him. And everyone who watches sports knows that New York is probably the hardest place to play. He has 14 points in 30 games this season. He's averaging about 13 minutes a game. So we will see how that goes for him in Seattle. As over time of recording, he has since scored his first goal with the Kraken. And speaking of the Rangers, yesterday, Chris Kreider was a healthy scratch. So
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
there's been rumors that he's next on the chopping block. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, the Rangers traded Jacob Trouba to Anaheim. So I don't know, man. We've had our discussions. If you guys watched the past couple episodes, Dee and I have definitely covered our thoughts on the Rangers. But I think this is an interesting move, and I'd like to see if a new place for Capo is going to work well for him.
I think it will. It's a shame that the Rangers are imploding. We've seen a lot in the news about that lately. And it's more than just these ridiculous trades and Chris Kreider being benched and all that. So you know what? Any team member that wants to get out, I would say now's the time to start talking to your agent, bud.
Now is
Genuinely.
your chance to get the fuck out.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and then there were a couple other trades, right, Chris?
I think so. I was just trying to.
I know might have been
Pierre-Olivier Joseph got traded.
Yeah,
that's right. Pierre-Olivier Joseph went back to the Penguins. He posted a picture on Instagram with him and his brother having dinner as teammates one final time before he ended up having to go back. And was there another one? I don't remember.
Alexandre Carrier, the Preds.
Oh, that's right. Carrier got traded to
the
Montreal.
Canadiens.
That's right.
Yeah. For Justin Barron.
The only one that I really paid attention to was Capo Caco, because that was
the
like,
that's fair.
That was huge.
That was big.
Just am seeing that Cam Fowler got traded.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I saw that in the Discord, and that's why I didn't go that far down on this. But
yeah, because we said.
And Blackwood got traded before that, man.
Who?
Mackenzie Blackwood.
Oh yeah. Yep, he got traded. Colorado. That was a goalie swap.
Yeah. Interesting. So interesting moves while I was gone. NHL.
Yeah.
And we're not even close
hopefully
to
all good things.
We're not close to the trade deadline either. But the rosters do lock for Christmas break.
Yeah, they're on a freeze until the 27th.
Yeah, so if you're going to make any moves, now is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys think, is there anybody that stands out in your minds that you think will move teams when we come back from break?
I don't think anyone's safe when it comes to the Rangers roster. I think that's being made a very, very abundantly clear. I've heard rumors of Mika Zibanejad being moved. I've heard rumors of them moving Lafreniere. I've heard rumors of Adam Fox being traded. I'm hearing rumors of just about everyone that's laced up their skates for the Rangers being moved.
Right now, the two biggest targets are Zibanejad and Kreider. And I would not be at all surprised if I see a roster move for either two of those guys
or both
ahead of the Four Nations break. As far as other teams in the league, that one I'm not sure. I haven't seen. There really hasn't. I think. Well, with the exception of the Canucks, which there are certain rumors circulating about certain players on their team, which I think we're covering in one of our shorts content. So go there for our takes on that. Aside from the Canucks, I haven't heard of a lot of other organizations that are like, we're really fucking sick of this guy or this situation and we want to change things up. So I don't know if we can expect any other trades to happen. But I'm sure there's always one big headline trade ahead of what's typically the All-Star break this year, the Four Nations break. There's usually something earth-shattering.
Buffalo, I don't really see too many safe people in Buffalo right now.
Yeah, that
them
was
losing
gonna be
14 straight or 13 straight.
They just won last night.
So they just picked up. They kicked the shit out of them, is what it was. It was a 7-1 win.
Yeah.
But also it was against the Islanders, who are notably having some issues as well inside of their organization. New York teams are not doing so hot. Gotta be honest with you.
What's going on in New York?
New York, there's something in the water, evidently.
Jesus. I mean, I feel like I feel like the Islanders have a better record than the Rangers and the Sabres.
They do, but there's
they're not
definitely
doing
there's been
that
some
bad,
talk of
but
some locker room drama.
Right.
yeah, so I could see Bo on his way
So.
out. I could see Barzy on his way out if this is the
Yeah.
situation. Your top guys and want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
One person that swiftly came back with a vengeance and immediately left again. Chris, do you want to talk about everyone's second least favorite goalie?
I feel like he might
Second
be
to
our
Binnington?
least favorite.
I think I hate Binnington more.
Yeah,
But Binnington
can't-
has been around the last 25 months, so there's more to hate.
That's fair.
There's more
That's
to
very
hate.
fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Matt Murray made his NHL return after being away for 638 days. He made his NHL return against the Buffalo Sabres with the Toronto Maple Leafs, where in a 6-3 win, he stopped 24 of 27 shots, which is
not
real
bad,
nice.
You know,
Yeah.
like happy for him. There,
For someone who hasn't played in almost 2 years, that's like
Dude, more than 2 years. It's 25
in the
months.
NHL. Like,
yeah.
It's not
Nearly
like he
25
sat on
months.
his ass for 25 months, but
and he has been injured and stuff. So,
well, right, but he's skated and played at least a little bit.
Oh yeah, but as of 3 days ago, reported by Sportsnet and every other outlet, the Maple Leafs have assigned Matt Murray to AHL Toronto Marlies, and they have recalled goaltender Dennis Hildeby. I don't know what this move really equates to. I mean, he's had 3 starts with the Maple Leafs this year, 2-1 record. He's got a 3.68 goals against average in those 3 games. So this might be a way for them to see if Murray can get himself feeling a little better. He's played 8 games in the AHL so far this season, a 4-1-3 record. He's got a .931 save percentage and a 1.85 goals against average. So I think this is a move that we'll see after the Four Nations break. We'll probably see Matt Murray back up, depending on the Stolar situation, and where he is in his return. Because I think we're 5-6 weeks out from that.
Yeah, we're at least 4 weeks out from that.
So
at the earliest.
I think this might just be a conditioning thing for him. But yeah, I mean, as much as we shit on Matt Murray, concussions are no joke, and it's nice to see him get another shot to come back and he played pretty well. So, props to him.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's like personally, we don't really like a lot of his antics, but he did have a lot of obstacles in his way with the health condition stuff and some mental health stuff, looks like.
Yeah. A little early in the show. Normally we save this bit for a little bit later, but question for you guys. At this point, do you think Matt Rempe could be saved? Like, do you think is he worth the time and effort for an organization to put into it? And then how would they do it? Because for those of you that don't know, Matt Rempe did just get suspended for 8 games. Rightfully so.
Very rightfully so.
Oh my God.
For a hit on Miro Heiskanen?
Heiskanen.
For those that haven't seen it,
boarding and elbowing. I haven't seen it yet. I need to look it up. Hold on.
He essentially, at full speed, without any sort of slowing down motion, plastered Heiskanen into the glass while leading with the elbow and just completely obliterating him.
Yeah, it was bad.
I meant to find it yesterday and forgot.
I mean, he's.
I'm watching it quick.
Yeah, let us know what you think, because it's like, holy
That's
shit.
not a check.
No. Nope.
No.
Sorry, this narrator is like, for this forceful check. No, that's not a check. That's straight up boarding.
That's headhunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
He's trying to hurt him because he goes.
Well, the
and he hits him way at the top of his shoulder.
Mhm.
With
Leads
the
with his
size
elbow.
difference between Rempe.
Left his feet.
Yeah.
I had sent you guys a video in our little Instagram group. I don't know if you'd seen it. This one older lady. Shout out Jane. You're awesome.
Yeah.
But she points out people are talking about it being his size. She's like, look at Chara. Tyler Myers is that big. How many times do you hear about either of those giant motherfuckers getting suspended for elbowing? Like, it's not a height issue at this point. It's a fucking.
Rempe is, I think,
6'8".
the same height that Bugard was?
No, he's.
I think Bugard was maybe 6'7".
He's up there with Tyler Myers, and Tyler Myers is the tallest in the league.
I don't know.
He's 6'9".
He's 6'9". Okay, so he's a little bit bigger than.
Yeah, he's
because like I can just relate it to Bugard because he was my favorite like enforcer, right, of the last.
But there's a difference with an enforcer and with someone the size like Matt Rempe. All of the best enforcers brought something to the table.
Yeah.
In 22 games in the NHL, Matt Rempe has 2 points. And he's been ejected 4 times. And last season was it Jonas Siegenthaler, right? He got a 4-game suspension for elbowing.
Yeah.
Like it's not a height problem. It's a discipline problem. It's a mentality problem. And this kid's a fucking dirty player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do you have him on the ice for any other reason than to physically hurt people? That's the only thing that they have him on the ice for. And like I wanted to like Matt Rempe at the beginning because there was a lot of upside for the kid, but now I'm just seeing he's a fucking goon, and not in a good way.
And not in a good way. Like we've talked plenty of times about loving enforcers, the physical part of the game.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of players like Rempe that even are coming up through the PBs and whatever. But he's just so above and beyond what is acceptable in the league at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, and like perfect stat. Tiger Williams, who is someone we've talked about on the channel and on the show before, the leader in NHL history with the most penalty minutes. He has 513 career points in the NHL.
Right.
Well, and also I think that, as much as people hate having this conversation, there is a conversation to be had that when Tiger Williams was playing, when, what's his name? Bugard was playing.
Yeah.
We did not know what we know now about traumatic brain injuries.
Oh God.
About CTE, about any of that. And so these guys who were going out here beating the shit out of each other, it was fine.
Yeah.
Because to them, they were just beating the shit out of each other. They felt better within a couple of weeks. Life moved on. They didn't realize the long-term effects it has, but now we do know that. So now there has to be protections for hits to the head during the game for these other things. And like Rempe's biggest issue is the hits to the head.
Yeah. He's young enough too that he was brought up in an era where he should have been taught better, like in high school. Like I get when he was younger than that, it probably still wasn't public knowledge about the CTEs and stuff, and so they probably weren't. I don't know when the don't check rule for PBs came in to play, or if that was a state by state decision. I guess I don't know, but talking again about Bugard, it was his death and then the death of 2 other players who were all under 40 that sparked this conversation a lot with the league because they all died around the same time. Similar issues, and with Boogie, it was determined that he had a CTE and it was more advanced than they had seen in other players.
Yeah.
And they attributed that, rightfully so, I think, to how physical of a player he was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
It changing, and being that he's been in the league. I mean, he was drafted in 2020,
and he's only played 22 games.
And he's been ejected from 4 of them.
4.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bro,
So,
you're almost at 25%.
Yeah, like over
Yeah.
20% of games you play and you're being ejected from. The one thing that upsets me is that Rangers coach Peter Laviolette seemed to be pleased with Rempe's game against Dallas before the hit on Heiskanen. He is quoted to saying, "I thought he had a big impact in the game. Would like to stay away from the 5-minute major, but he's doing his best to hit bodies and make a difference in the game. Our guys rallied around that." Okay, respect to the thought of physical play, but there's a fucking line, and Matt Rempe continuously crosses that line. Like,
well, I don't think in any world you give that quote in an interview after that hit takes place. Now, if that was a mid-game interview, because sometimes they'll do that, I more commonly see it with assistant bench bosses than with the head boss. But there's no world in which after that hit, you're like, yeah, no, actually, I was really pleased with his physical play during the game. It made an impact. It's like, yeah, you're lucky it didn't make an impact to that dude's life and his fucking kids' lives, because that was a dirty ass hit. And regardless of whether or not you want your guys to be more physical, there are ways to be physical without like headhunting.
Correct.
And that's what Rempe did, because he went in elbow fully up. Like when you watch the video, it's not that suddenly Heiskanen ducked down, because if anything, Heiskanen came up. Like he stood up fully, which means that it would have been hitting him even worse in the head had he not done that, made that last second adjustment. And so it's things like that where it's like, you can't be like, oh, what great physical play. No, that was just uncalled for. And if that does concern me about the Rangers organization, if your head coach is like, oh, I really wasn't all that upset about it, actually. It was, pretty good.
But that's classic Laviolette. There's not a single word in that statement that surprises me coming out of Peter Laviolette's mouth. Like, let's call it what it is. That's enabling. You're enabling that sort of behavior from a young player who thinks that it's okay to play like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I really hope this sends him a message to be like, dude, fucking stop. Because you're going to find yourself never allowed to play in the NHL again. I don't think we've seen that, but there's a good chance it can happen.
Look, I'm pretty sure he stated in the past that he's looked up to guys like Ryan Reeves and Tom Wilson. And if I could just usher you in a different direction, just look up more to Tom Wilson, who, still fucks up occasionally, and that is a whole conversation on its own. He has actually changed his game over the last several years after having been suspended multiple times, very similar to Rempe. But he is actually a benefit on the ice, not just because he can hit somebody, but because he can put the net in the put the puck in the net. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a 30-plus goal scorer a year.
Also, take a look at Ryan Reeves, who's getting paid, I mean, not an insignificant amount of money. None of these guys are getting paid fucking pennies. But he's not actually playing. He is on the ice for 3 minutes of ice time on average a night. That's what you want to be. You want to grow up and be the guy in the league that everybody hates, that gets paid less than Tom Wilson. I'm pretty sure Tommy gets paid more than Revo, because he is actually a threat to goalies and to the scoreboard, and not to the lives of other people.
Right.
So, like, maybe Rempe, just sit with yourself for a second in these 8 games where you can't play in the NHL, you can't play in the AHL. Hell, I'm not even sure they would let you in like a backyard rink at this point. Just sit with yourself and think about how you can fucking change that. And I know you're going to be like, well, I'm just so big. Like, I'm just such a tall dude. There has to be a way to fix it, because not every player that is your height or taller is getting hit with the kind of shit you're getting hit with. So clearly, something can be fixed.
I just want to point out that Tom Wilson is making 5 times what Reeves is making a year.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. I mean, he's at least putting up points and
he's
stuff.
He's being productive, and he's not being like if Reeves was just like doing what he did and didn't run his mouth, I'm sure people wouldn't hate him as much. But
Yeah,
the
it's
shit
the
he was
attitude.
saying after the Darnell Nurse hit, and his attitude about he can't do any wrong, it like that is not a
Which,
player you want to model yourself after.
but
Right.
again, that's Rempe, because as he's going off the ice for that hit against Heiskanen, as he's getting let off the ice by the officials, he's going,
Yeah.
I can't hear you, to the crowd.
Being a pro wrestling heel is cool in some sports, not hockey.
Not hockey when you just fucking hit a dude in the dome. Like,
Yeah.
pro wrestling, yeah, being a heel is fun because that's all, like, spoiler alert, that's all planned
Right.
out.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
a choreographed bit.
Yeah.
And yes, people still get injured because that's a
Yeah.
risk
Yeah. I
anytime you're
mean,
it
it's
doing
is,
still
anything
yeah.
physical.
physical as
Like,
fuck, but
there are
yeah.
still accidents that happen, absolutely. But like
But
being a
like
heel there, that's part of the bit. Being a heel in the
Mhm.
Right.
NHL is like, I, I don't know. I don't know if you should do that.
Yeah.
yeah,
In
it's a
my two
bad
cents.
move. It's a bad move.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's any way for Rempe to come back, it would not be with the Rangers. He needs an organization that's going
Yeah.
to teach him discipline.
Yes.
There are plenty of those around the league. Pittsburgh's really good with disciplined players. Washington
Hmm.
seems to be getting it figured out.
Yep.
St. Louis does not have a lot of dirty players. They did at one point in
Yeah.
the early 2010s, but once they cleaned up their entire front office, teams like Columbus, like there's plenty of places for him to go where he can be a big guy. Again, Tyler
Mhm.
Myers has had a great
Look.
career as a big defenseman
Yeah.
in Winnipeg where he has stayed out of trouble. I think he got
I would
suspended once for
say,
an accidental like contact, but other than that, yeah, I
yeah.
don't see it being New York where it works
Seattle
for him.
could use a physical guy, but they're not going to let them beat the
No,
shit out of people.
no, not
You know
like
what I
that.
mean?
Not like that.
So there are plenty of places that he can get trained up, and it is on Rempe to do that on his own, but it's
Hmm.
also on the coaches to provide the support he needs. So I think if we don't see a change, and I think that to be honest, Ryan Reeves also has never had that support because everywhere he's gone, they've been fine with it, with his antics.
Right.
Because they were like, you know what, we need a big guy that people are afraid of, and that's what it is, and they haven't been all that concerned. But I think that is why Vegas dealt him away. I
Yeah.
think that
Why
they
he only
realized that
stayed in
like that is
Pittsburgh for a year
actually
too.
it wasn't helpful to it wasn't as helpful to them as they thought it was going to be. And so that's what these clubs are realizing. And there's going to come a time where there will be no more clubs in the NHL who think that that's going to be helpful. Because, like, let's be real, the reason why that's still a thing is because we have all these old fogies in front of office and as head coaches who are so used to that style of play that they're fine with it. And eventually, all those motherfuckers are going to die because they're ancient.
Yeah.
And then all you'll have is the younger kids who are like, you know what? I actually don't like that. I have all of these lifelong issues because of how many hits to the head I fucking took. So maybe we don't do
Yeah.
that.
Right.
No, there's no excuse for a hit to the head in any
No.
aspect. If it's an accidental contact, then listen, those things happen. That
Shit
is
happens.
part
Yeah.
of
Right.
the sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is anyone who paints this hit as incidental or that Matt Rempe did nothing wrong, I do
Yeah.
not want you to be a part of this sport and the culture of the NHL because
Yeah.
that is such a fucking disgusting take for what we've clearly seen was
Mhm.
Right.
there is no way. There's no possible way you could convince me that this wasn't an intentional action. You don't leave your
Yeah.
feet and lead with an elbow by accident. Oh, I got caught up in the moment. Fuck you. You are suspended 8 games, rightfully fucking so, because you just
Yeah. And
injured a
fined.
player. Yeah,
Yeah.
and fined. What was it, 80,000 he's forfeited?
I think so.
Yeah, 80,000.
Yeah.
This is
80,000
why
for 8
you don't
games.
play in the NHL.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This right here.
Yep. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I get you.
Tanger's like, yeah, I don't really need to add to that. You guys really covered it
No,
all.
Yeah.
you guys, yeah.
What are
And
your
I think I
thoughts
know
on
the
it?
answer to this question, at least how I feel about it. But do you think that he could be ever turned around for the better, like a Tom Wilson, for example.
If it happens somewhere besides the Rangers.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about in the league in general.
I mean, there's always
I
room,
have not
right? But
I have not seen anything. I have not seen any statements from him after his last suspension and after this most recent one, which granted this most recent one came down like literally 2 days ago, I want to say.
yeah,
I haven't seen any statements from him about how he understands and he agrees. I do think it's positive that I haven't heard any reports that he has tried to fight the 8-game ban. Because it's more than 5, they can take it to arbitration, and I haven't heard that they've decided to do that, which to me is a good sign. If he tried to go to arbitration on this, I'd be like, no, he's fucked forever.
Right.
But I'm not seeing anything out of him that would suggest that he understands that what he did was wrong. And at least with players that we've seen turn it around, they're like, yeah, I know I need to do better. Like I can't keep letting my team down. Usually that's how you hear it, is the I can't keep letting my team down. I haven't heard that from him, and so right now I don't think he has a desire to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think if there's any saving him, he has to be willing to admit that he's doing something wrong, and he's showing zero remorse, and he's like a Bond villain right now.
Yeah.
Like I feel it's insane.
For sure.
So I'd like to see him get his redemption because most people deserve a second chance, I think. But I don't see it happening. At least not right now.
Not in New York.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 22-year-old kid. I don't think he's going to recognize at any time soon.
Yeah, I was
and
a
I think he'll
shithead at
realize it
22, so
when
I
he
get it, but
can't make up for it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's gonna ruin his
You know.
career, and then he's gonna have he's gonna not understand why. And he'd be like, "Well, you fucked yourself over, pal."
yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Honestly, maybe the NHL needs to consider some Goons Anonymous type service where former NHL goons,
Go
like
stick
if
him in
someone
a room
is
with Domi and fucking
no, but that's what I'm
Pronger
saying.
and let them
Yeah,
beat the
stick him in a room
shit
with
out
these
of him.
guys. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying like legitimately, like a Goons Anonymous, where if you are constantly getting in trouble for head hits and things like that, you have to go to like basically like AA or anger management classes. But it's just with like other former NHL players or current NHL players who used to get into a lot of trouble, and it's just you have to like listen to them talk to you
on
about
this
it.
I think there might have been a commercial
while
about
ago.
it.
I think that they did make it a commercial, like, of course, poking fun at it, but you might not be too far
You might not
off
be
in
far
that
off.
idea.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I don't think that he has any mentors being like, "Hey, dude, I know you think it's like funny. I know you think that like, oh, whatever. I hit him in the head. He lived, didn't he?" But like, this is the serious repercussions, and also like, you're affecting your own fucking bank account. Because again, as Chris pointed out, Reeves makes 5 times less than Tom Wilson does, and what he's putting his body through, he needs that 5 times just because, like, in his old age, those medical bills.
Well,
they're gonna be hefty.
And even Brad Marchand, who's another one who's famously like the most suspended player in NHL history. He's making crazy money, but he's also, again, another 30-plus goal scorer a year.
Yeah.
But I mean,
who also notably hasn't gotten suspended in a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Marchand he's just gotten a little weirder with like the other shit he does.
Yeah, he's become weirder, but
he's become weirder. But he's become less violent. So again, he changes ways. So yeah, maybe NHL consider a Goons Anonymous course for all of your fucking
And I
bad
mean,
boys.
Look at best example, and this is something we've talked about a couple times over the past, like, obviously year now. But the relationship between Connor Bedard and Nick Foligno over in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about a guy who is physical? Both Foligno brothers are very physical. They're not afraid to fight, but they do it in a clean and respectable way. And I think what's helped Connor, because we've seen Connor's grown some balls. What I think is helping there is having a good source of physicality as a mentor. And this is no shot to Nick or Marcus either. They're both very, very offensively stout as well. they're great all around players, but they
Moose
both
is
come
awesome,
from a
yeah.
very physical because they're big guys. And
Right.
I think Bedard having Nick Foligno as like a mentor to be like, all right, man, hey, that was a good hit. You just change how you're doing that, you know,
Yeah.
or like just this and that. And I think that's hugely missing, like Dee said, from Rempe. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if he can get himself if he can get himself to a team that they've got something like that, yeah. But they
Yeah.
can't. The league can't keep allowing this sort of thing with him.
No.
No.
No, and hopefully at some point they will finally say like enough is enough. Like you can't even come up here for fucking one game without getting
Yeah,
yourself in
you're done.
trouble. Like
Legitimately, that was his first game being
yeah,
called up.
First game of the
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
and it was like in the
Yeah.
first period, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't even like an end of game
No,
frustration.
it
Like,
was like
where you can
towards the end of the first
somewhat
period.
like it's still
Yeah.
not okay, but it's a
Yeah.
little bit more understandable. No, it was like straight off the bat.
And it wasn't like him and Heiskanen have some long feuds, you know, going
Right.
back
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Like Rempe hasn't
Right.
been around long enough to have a feud
Like
with Heiskanen.
yeah,
He
precisely.
just bleached him to the fucking boards, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
why? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah,
any
It was
and
sense.
like you used to see hits like that, you know, especially before we really knew the downfalls of CTEs and everything. You used to see hits like that from guys that either knew each other really, really well, and they were like BFFs, and they would just kind of do that shit
They would just
to razz the
body
other
the shit
guy,
out of each other.
or people that had long histories of hating each other or whatever. Like it's like, oh, this boxing match is going to be great because these guys have so much history and animosity
Yeah.
towards each other.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it is with Rempe because he hasn't been around that long. Like he doesn't get to have that because he's like that with everybody.
Headhunter.
Precisely,
A lot
and
like Nick Cousins.
Right.
right, like nobody likes that anymore. Like
No.
No.
It's a different game.
I love a goon that'll stand up for his guys though. Like
Yes.
there's
That's
that
different.
kind of a player, and there's the headhunter player, and
Like,
I'm not about the headhunting.
I love seeing guys drop gloves. When
Yeah.
like something has happened, especially you fuck with our goalie, absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you to the mat for
You
it.
get a janky hit, yeah.
Right, right. But that is always
Look
two
at the
consenting adults who are like, "Are we gonna do this? Hell yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
do this." And then they fight each other.
yeah.
Not
like, you
smoking
know.
someone to the point where they're out for
Right.
fucking
Yeah,
2
where they're
months.
coming out on a
Yeah.
backboard or something. Like
Yeah, that's
Right.
not.
And it's
just-
usually in the middle of the ice. Like sometimes it is near like a board, but they're not like body slamming the other person into
Yeah.
the boards as part of
Yeah.
that fight.
Yeah, no,
It's
I'm
respectful.
with
You know
for
what I
that,
mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like that brought up a point, and at least last season and prior to when I was actively going to hockey games, you see less of the like immediate dropping the gloves in the middle of a play.
Mm-hmm.
I think recently,
That's because
comparative to like the puck drops, the gloves come off, like in that moment, because you used to see a lot more of where it, like in the middle of the play,
They would just
you're fighting now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's because they started penalizing it. They were
Mhm.
having the
Right.
refs enforce
fair.
more calls for fighting
That's
when
fair.
it happened, when it interrupted play, and even just in general, because the NHL wants to get rid of fighting to some extent in the league.
Right.
But the players and the fans don't.
Yeah.
I think that there can be additional rules around fighting.
Yeah.
But I think that I think it's here to stay. And I don't have as much of a
Yeah.
problem with that as I do with
hits like that.
with dangerous hits.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and like I don't know how much you've gotten to watch this year, but the National Lacrosse League changed a rule that you get a 10-minute misconduct if you fight at a certain point in the game. You get
Yeah.
5 minutes. I think it's like the last 5 minutes of the game or something like that. You get a 5-minute major and a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm here for like getting rid of excessive fighting. Like
Yeah.
I don't want
Right.
to go see, like I'm going to a fucking ECHL game and there's like 13 fights in the first 2 periods.
Right.
Like, you know, we
Right.
don't need a fight in every game. When a situation arises, it arises. But I do. I
Right.
love a good enforcer standing up for his team. But I also
Yeah.
love to watch a guy score 60 goals in a year. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
there's a balance in the sport now that didn't exist in the 70s. I mean, think about the literal
Yep.
Broad Street bullies in the fucking
Yeah.
with the Flyers, or
Right.
how rough and physical the Rangers were through the 80s. It was like, you know, there's a difference in the game now, and Rempe, while he probably would have been loved in the 70s, 2024 he's pretty hated by everyone now.
Right.
So,
and I also think that there's a difference in, we see a lot of fights that are like, fight is a generous word for it, right? It's kind of just like a few guys being like holding each other out and then being like,
yeah,
and like hitting each other.
There's not a lot of beating the shit out of each other anymore.
No.
Right.
So do I think that maybe we should there be a penalty for fighting when you are literally beating the shit out of the other guy, the guy goes down to the ground and you're still trying to throw punches at him? Yes, that's a defenseless player. Sure.
Right.
Give him the
10 minutes.
penalty for fighting. When I think it's two guys who are both standing up, and the second that the refs are like, all right, we've had enough of this, you're the winner, whatever, and they separate and they go their own ways, no, because I don't think that is as much of a problem, because those guys aren't walking away beat to shit. They got out a little bit of frustration, they landed some good blows, and they skate away.
I think it becomes fine with a 2-minute roughing penalty with that. Give me 2 minutes for roughing, that's fine. 4-on-4, okay.
Yeah, I think the 5-minute fighting should be reserved for when a guy doesn't let up, especially after, and the refs are having to pull them off of each other when they're both on the ice. Mm-hmm. That's when I'm like, okay, yeah, warranted, because you should know when you've beat a guy, that's it, game over, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a better rule to enforce than just like, we just get to arbitrarily decide it's 5 for fighting when we think we should.
Right.
Because rules. It's like, no. Have like an actual rule. And also have one that makes sense for the guys. The only way that you're going to get guys to fight less is if they believe in it. Because we're still going to see fights. We see them, every week. I feel like there's at least one fight.
Yeah.
I'm always sending them to you guys in Discord too. Not only Discord, but the Instagram reels.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
So I think we covered that pretty
well.
Done
talking about Matt fucking Rempe.
Yeah.
Let's go on to our injuries. And for 2 reasons, I'm just going to read down the list. One, I obviously have been gone and haven't been doing it. And I know you guys have, but the way my brain works, it just helps to say it out loud and then I somewhat remember it the following week. And 2, everybody on this list has been updated between Friday and today. So across the board, they're all updates, minimum. And I'm going off of CBS Sports. Anybody interested? And then I'll go back to the updating it and keeping better track of it next week. But for Anaheim, we have Brock McGinn, lower body injury listed as day-to-day. John Gibson, who got that high stick to the eyeball, he is listed as day-to-day. And Trevor Zegras, with that knee injury, expected to be out until January 23rd. And I believe, Chris, did he have surgery?
He did. Yeah, he did. He should be good by February. He should be good by post 4 Nations break. We're hoping.
Yeah. So I thought I had read that he had surgery. For Boston, we have David Pastrnak listed as day-to-day with an upper body injury. And another great name, Hampus Lindholm.
Hampus, former Duck.
Right? Is he? Nice.
Yeah, we traded him to Boston.
Lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. For Buffalo, we have Jordan Greenway, undisclosed on IR, expected to be out until February 22nd. Looks like he got hurt early on in December.
Yeah, they're not expecting him back till after All-Star break too.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm not shocked, but I like Greenway. He's former Wild.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid for them.
Yeah, he's done better for them than he did for us the last 2 years he was with us. So, for Calgary, we have Andrei Kuzmenko, lower body injury listed as day-to-day. Justin Kirkland, knee injury on IR, expected to be out for the rest of the season. And Anthony Mantha, also with the knee injury on IR, expected to be out for the rest of the season. For Carolina, we have Jack Drury. So hard last name to say, and it shouldn't be.
Should be ours.
Yeah, there is. Anyway, he has a hand injury on not on IR. expected to be out until at least January 20th. Frederick Anderson, knee injury not on IR. Jesus Christ, I can read. Expected to be out until at least February 22nd. And Jesper Fast with a neck injury. He is on IR, out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he
for
took
Chicago,
a gnarly
we have
hit too, and it was like,
yeah.
glad Jesper's okay, because holy shit.
For Chicago, we have Alec Martinez, neck injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 29th. Craig Smith with a back injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. And Laurent Brossois, knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 10th. For Colorado, we have Oliver Kylington, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. Josh Manson, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. Gabriel Landeskog. I always want to say Skoog. I went to high school with a girl whose last name was Skoog. Gabriel's on IR, expected to be out until at least February 22nd with that knee injury. Miles Wood on IR, expected to be out until at least December 31st. And Jonathan Drouin, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. For Columbus, we have Elvis Merzlinskins, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. Eric Gudbranson, shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 4th. Justin Danforth, lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 31st. Igor Chenikov, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. And Boone Jenner, shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 1st. For Dallas, we have Matt Dumba, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. And Tyler
Sagan.
Can't I fucking say it? Sagan. Tyler Sagan. My brain was like, nope, fuck you. But with a hip injury on IR, expected to be out until at least April 3rd. That sucks to suck. Anyway, for Detroit, couldn't have happened to a better team. We have Simon Evanson with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. And Ben Chiarot, upper body injury, listed as a. I'm not even drunk or high. I'm just this today. For Edmonton, we have Ryan Nugent Hopkins with an illness, listed as day-to-day. Alec Regula with a knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 29th. And Shucky darn, Evander Kane with a hip injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 22nd. For Florida, I do kind of feel bad on this one because that was a nasty hit. But Matthew Tkachuk is out with a knee injury, listed as day-to-day. Jesper Boquist, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. Jonah Godoyevich, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. And Nico Mikola, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. For Los Angeles, we have Trevor Moore, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. Philip Denault, undisclosed, day-to-day. Arthur Kaliev, collarbone, on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. Drew Doughty, ankle injury, on IR, expected to be out until at least January 1st. And Trevor Lewis, lower body, on IR, expected to be out until at least January 11th. For Minnesota, we have Jakob Lauko, whatever it is. Lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. Jacob Middleton, who I am super sad about because I saw that he had scored a goal. He doesn't get many. And then, immediately, I think the next game he got hurt. So it was sad. But Midtsey is out with a hand injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 7th. And Joel Eriksson, lower body on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. For Montreal, we have Patrick Laine, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day, and then Carey Price with that knee injury out for the season. Which I know it's been that way, but it got updated on Friday, so apparently September.
I don't know why they're updating it. He's probably never
I know.
Again.
I think after so many days, they should just be taken off until right before they get reactivated.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or until they're skating again. For Nashville, we have Cole Smith, lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 21st. For New Jersey, we have Curtis Lazar, knee injury, listed as day-to-day. And Santeri Hatka? Sure. Shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. For the Islanders, we have Semyon Varlamov. Sure. Lower part of his body is hurt. On IR, expected to be out until at least December 29th. Lower body. And Mike Riley with a chest injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 23rd. It's an interesting one we don't see very often. Injuries of the chesticles. For the Rangers, we have Keandre Miller, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. For Ottawa, half their fucking team is out. We have Linus Ullmark with a back injury listed as day-to-day. Anton Forsberg, lower body injury listed as day-to-day. David Perron, upper body expected to be out until at least January 7th. Michael Amandio, head injury listed as day-to-day. And Artem Zub, foot injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd, which I think is the update there. Nikki Delorier for Philadelphia is on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th with an upper body injury. That's a sad day. And Ryan Ellis with a back injury on IR, expected to be out until September 15th. For Pittsburgh, we have Owen Pickering with a concussion on IR, expected to be out until at least December 29th. And Marcus Pettersson, lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. For San Jose, we have Jake Wallman, lower body injury, listed as day-to-day. William Eklund, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. Klim Kostin, feels like a rapper's name. I don't know why.
It does.
Upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. Mark Edward Vlasic with a back injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. And then these ones we've talked about before, but for the sake of the update, Logan Couture with a groin injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 1st. Vitek Vananek, upper body injury, expected to be out until at least December 31st. For Seattle, we have Brandon Tanev. I love Tanev. Undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. I think he might be the syphilis bus driver.
Brandon Tanev has the best fucking player pictures of all time.
Oh, freaking brilliant.
Every year. What a gem.
They're the best. Always. Yeah. I was telling actually Dave's daughter about him because we were talking about it.
It's so funny.
And then Jordan Eberle with a pelvic injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 22nd.
Broke his pelvis, if I'm correct.
That sucks. For St. Louis, we have Radek Faksa. Listed as day-to-day with a lower body injury. Nick Leddy, lower body injury on IR, hopefully back around December 27th. And then Troy Krug, ankle injury. He is now suspected to be out all season. For Tampa Bay, we have Connor Geeky. Upper body injury listed as day-to-day. And then I'm going to assume it's Giannis Moser. Lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 23rd. For Toronto, the other Tanev, Christopher, lower body injury listed as day-to-day. Slightly less pictures that are good.
But he looks just fucking like him, so.
He does. But he is the lesser Tanev. Austin Matthews with that upper body injury, now listed as day-to-day. Callie Yarncronk with a groin injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. He is on IR. Anthony Stolarz on IR, expected to be out until January 22nd. Knee injury. Yanni Hakanpää, knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. So hopefully Toronto will be getting at least those latter three back soon. For Utah, beat the Wild the other night. That was sad. Robert Bertuzzo, lower body injury, expected to be out until at least January 4th. Connor Ingram, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 31st. Sean Druzy, shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 22nd. John Marino, back injury. Marino, sorry. On IR, expected to be out until at least February 22nd. And Maverick Lamoureux, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 8th. For Vancouver, we have Elias Pettersson, also on that bus with Brandon. Undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. And Philip Roenick, lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 29th. For Vegas, we have Ivan Barbashev, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day, and Nicholas Roy, upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. And then for Robin Lehner, he's out all season. And then been watching Yellowstone. Ben Hutton, not Beth Dutton. Upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 27th. That's why my brain went, oh, it's Beth Hutton. No,
Beth Dutton was his mother's name.
Right. For Washington, this is sad. I don't want to read this one. Alex Ovechkin, I forgot up until now that he was hurt so very bad. But,
although he is skating in a non-contact jersey the other day.
Expect to be back or out until at least December 28th. So hopefully first of the year we'll see him back.
The Russian train built different.
It's like there was a wild short that from one of our outdoor practices, and somebody asked Krill if he's cold because it was super cold that day. And he goes, I am from Siberia. I do not get cold. I was like, love you.
Fair. Honestly, fair.
Right? TJ Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Timothy Yoshi.
Right? Back injury on IR, and we knew this, but September 15th is the date they slapped on there for now. We don't know if or when he will ever come back, correct?
Correct. Still correct.
Yeah. Still correct.
Unfortunately.
I was hoping for a change.
Me too.
Or that I remembered it wrong and like just dreamt that he was so significantly hurt, you know? Lars Eller, he is out with an illness on IR, expected to be out until at least December 28th. Nicholas Backstrom with a hip injury, expected to be out until at least July 1st.
Yeah.
Random date. But Sonny Milano, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least December 31st.
We're getting closer, Sonny.
Before 2025, which is great.
Some of the best hair in the league, Sonny Milano.
Yeah, I was also telling Dave's daughter about Sonny Milano.
Sonny Milano, the legend.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for Winnipeg, we have Logan Stanley, lower body, listed as day-to-day. Hayden Fleury, again, lower body, listed as day-to-day. He's just having a hell of a year. And Dylan Sandberg with a foot injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. So, holy crap, that was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But it's good to be back in it, and then hopefully next week I thought that said trade tracker and was talking Ovechkin, and I was like, what?
No,
that's not going to happen.
No.
You're wrong.
No, he will die in a Washington Caps jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
You, Mr. Man, should have some updates on the Fantasy Hockey League.
I do. In fact, we just wrapped up week 11 of our Pucked Up Hockey League. Scores as they fell last week. D pretty handedly beat the fuck out of them all. 104-82. Matt got a win against Marcello, 63-54. Nice. John definitely got a nice sizable win over Danger, 128-103.
Yeah, I kind of forgot the fantasy hockey was a thing last week.
And apparently when you faced me 2 weeks ago as well.
Well, I thought I had it set for all the way through December, and I apparently didn't.
Dude, I beat you by 60
enough
points.
Injuries and stuff happened.
Yeah.
But I had it like preset because I knew I wasn't going to be able to look at it for however long until my thing came about.
Yeah.
my computer set up and stuff. So
West continues his march to the top 4 with a win over
Nice.
Dave, 104-97. And I beat Drew 116-101 after being down 20 plus points all fucking week. For our standings, I still sit at the top of the league at 11-0. D, you are in second place with 8-3. Wes is in third place, 7-4, and Drew holds the final playoff spot at 6-5. The points for gap is like 130 points now. Scoreboard for this week, week 12. Danger is playing Maul. D is against Dave. Marcello is facing off against Wes. Drew and John are going at it, and I am facing off against Matt. Matt currently has a 20-point lead over me, but because the Minnesota Wild popped the fuck off last night.
Yeah.
As we've seen, I don't know if this is over, but again, there's 3 days this week that they're not playing. So this could be the end of the undefeated streak for sure.
If it's Matt that ends Chris's undefeated streak,
would be phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie.
It would both be phenomenal, and I'd be so pissed because I wanted to be the one to do it.
Right.
I know. Yeah, that's our fantasy hockey updates. I do have a 2-part question for you guys, trivia wise.
Okay.
The league saw its most before Seattle and Las Vegas. The league saw a very large expansion almost every year from 91 to 2000. Can you tell me how many teams were added from 1991 to 2000?
Well, I know of one.
Are we talking about like brand new teams, or are we including team moves as well?
Expansions. So the Columbus Blue Jackets, or not the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Colorado Avalanche do not count. And the
when the Winnipeg Jets got sold and then went to
Arizona, so the Coyotes don't count,
and then came back to Winnipeg,
and they also don't count. But the team that the new Winnipeg Jets started as were an expansion team from this point. So between 91 and 2000, how many teams were added just as expansion team?
5.
Danger.
That's a better guess than what I've got. I can only think of the Wild. I'm drawing a complete blank.
Just throw a number out.
74. Oh, I'm sorry. Less than 32.
Less than 32.
You should say a number.
I did. That is,
she met the requirement.
She answered my question.
She answered your question. 74. Final answer.
Let's go 3 because 7
You're
minus
Price
4.
Is Right me.
You are both very low. From 91 to 2000, 9 teams were added.
Wow.
Jesus. That weren't moves. That's 9 new.
Yeah, can you name
the Wild.
Okay.
Are we also counting though, like, because I guess there was
expansion teams,
sort of like a merger from an existing Canadian league.
Dude, that happened in the 70s.
No, but some of those teams, like,
no, there was no. All the teams from the 90s were all original teams,
brand new.
Yeah, there's 2 of them right
the Thrashers.
Here. That is 1.
Anaheim.
Oh, good call.
That's 2.
And we said the Wild.
That's 3. Yep. Keep going. Let's see if we can get them all.
With the
I'm trying to think.
Hurricanes? No,
they were relocation.
Okay.
The Preds? When did they come in?
That's 4. 97.
Okay. Yeah.
98 rather.
I thought it was closer to 2000.
Yeah, 98.
So okay.
Well, yeah, but that's within that limit then.
That works. Yeah.
No, but I thought it was after 2000 is what I meant to say.
Nope, 98.
Now I'm already forgetting who we already said.
So you said
we had
Minnesota,
the Wild, we had Anaheim, we had
Wild, Thrashers,
San Jose.
Yeah.
San Jose Sharks. Yep,
San Jose.
91.
That was right at the top of this. So everybody after San Jose.
One of the New York teams had to have come in that time.
No. Nope.
No.
No.
There's just too many of them.
The most recent New York team was 72.
There's just too many of them. Why would they all be there?
Because Buffalo existed in 70.
No, I'm thinking like
are...
warmer states. It's got to be almost all warmer states minus like Minnesota and.
All right. So you
said
San
either
Jose,
Tampa or
Tampa. Yeah, the Lightning.
Tampa. Yeah, the Lightning.
The Predators.
I already said the Preds. Yep. They were one of.
You did say the Preds. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the other fucking Florida team.
The Panthers.
7.
I was like, my brain said Predators, but I'm like, no, I wasn't thinking of Nashville. Yeah. I was thinking of.
So far, you've gotten the Sharks, the Lightning, the Ducks, the Panthers, the Predators, the Thrashers, the Wild. You are missing 2 more teams. I, at this point, just want to see if you guys can get them. We talk about one of them frequently.
Oh, a lot of teams frequently, Chris. It's the hockey podcast.
We said Columbus, right?
There's 8. Now you're just missing 1.
Is it a Canadian team?
It's a Canadian team.
Is the Canucks?
No.
No, the Canucks. It's not the Flames.
Nope, because the Flames.
No, it's the Ottawa Senators.
It is the Ottawa Senators.
It's the Ottawa Senators.
I was like trying to think. I'm like, Montreal's been around forever. Like,
congrats, you guys just named all 9 expansion teams from 91 to 2000.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forget the Ottawa Senators exist sometimes. So I was like, we've gone through all of the Canadian teams.
Like the Winnipeg Jets, this is the second iteration of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Because they existed one time before. They existed in 1917. And then
I think that's what I was saying about with another Canadian league, because they did exist.
They existed,
prior in Canada.
Yeah, but they were part of the NHL at one point. But the teams that obviously didn't count were the Quebec Nordiques relocating to Colorado, the Hartford Whalers relocating to Carolina, and Winnipeg Jets relocating to Arizona.
Okay.
The Atlanta Thrashers obviously no longer exist. They are the Winnipeg Jets.
Although there's still time.
They're trying real hard to get fucking Atlanta a team again. Yeah. And then obviously Arizona Coyotes no longer exist. That is the Utah Hockey Club. Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty good trivia question. I was like, what can I do? What can I do? Good. Expansion.
No, that's
Speaking
good.
of expansion teams, one of them is mentioned this week in our obscure NHL Player of the Week. Our obscure Player of the Week is yet another one who's not so obscure. If you watched hockey at any point between now and 2003, you've heard this name. It is none other than Corey Perry. Corey Perry was born in New Liskeard, Ontario in 1985. He is a right winger, currently playing still in the league. Drafted 28th overall in 2003 by the Anaheim Ducks, or I'm sorry, as they were known back then, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
Very true.
He has played, let's go down so far, and this number can change, in 1,311 career games. He has 429 goals, 476 assists, 1,432, most of those all being with this team that he holds the record for franchise in penalty minutes. Can we name that team?
The Anaheim Ducks, obviously.
Yeah, it's the Anaheim Ducks. He also is a former Conn Smythe Trophy winner. I'll just list off some of his stuff real fast. Stanley Cup champion in 2007. He is a 4-time NHL All-Star. 2011, he took home the Rocket Richard Trophy, the Hart Memorial Trophy, and he's been first All-Star team twice. He has been to what, 4 straight, or he was in 3 straight NHL Stanley Cup Finals, 4 in the last 4 or 5 years. Unfortunately, he has not won a Stanley Cup since his 07 win with Anaheim, but with second season in Edmonton, you never know. I love Corey Perry. I do. He's, lifelong Duck. Always will love Corey. Is he the cleanest player? No, but I still love him all the same.
Not Matthew Rempe.
No.
Awesome. And on that note, I have nothing else. Do either of you have anything else?
I think just a very happy holidays from us here of the Puffed Up Podcast to all of you listeners. This is recorded on Tuesday, but it's going out on Friday, so kind of past the holidays, but hey, there's still New Year's Eve on that horizon. But yeah, there's no hockey, so most of what we say should still be true for the first time ever by Friday.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
Right? But thank you again for joining us. And we will see all of you motherfuckers in the Face Off Circle next week.
Make sure you can like and subscribe on everywhere you find us.
That too.